Hey yo, JP here with another Biz Rich video. Before we get started, I would like to ask you to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We at BizRich are going to continue bringing you the highest quality business information, but we need your support in the form of a like and subscription to the channel. Now, let's get to the nitty-gritty of the video. If you are looking to absolutely crush it in 2019 and make it the best year for you and your business, you are going to need to learn how to set goals. Now, most people have heard of SMART or smarter goals, but I would like to dive a little deeper into how you can use them to make your business skyrocket. The acronym SMARTER stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, and evaluated on a regular basis, or exciting and reviewed. For the sake of this video, we are going to use the latter. No, not that ladder. This one. We will be working our way through the Smarter Goals process a few times. We are going to set goals at a macro as well as micro level. You'll see why as we work our way through the process. So, let's get started! While we all have a general idea of what a specific goal is, let's go over some best practices and get specific on specific goals. To set a specific goal, we will need to set exactly what needs to be accomplished. This may be a certain number of sales, or a certain percentage of growth in your company, or fitting into those pants that you haven't been able to fit into for the last few years. Next, we will need to figure out how it will be accomplished. This will kind of materialize as we work our way from the macro level to the micro level. But you should begin thinking about the who, when, and wheres of your goal. Now we will need to make sure our goal is measurable, meaning you will need a system in place that can quantifiably represent your progress in reaching that goal. You may have noticed that when creating that specific goal, most goals had a number associated with it, such as an exact number of items sold or exact percentage of growth. This allows our goals to be measurable. And now we move on to one of the most important aspects of Smarter Goals, and that is making sure your goal is achievable. This is probably one of the most difficult parts of the process and will likely take some practice. But you can reach out to a mentor or experienced professional in your field for a little bit of help with this step, because you want your goal to exist on a very fine line of challenging yet achievable. You also get more clarity on your goal's actual achievability as you work your way from the macro goal to the micro goal. Okay, now we will need to answer the question, is your goal relevant? On a personal level, you can ask yourself, does this goal get you closer to what you're trying to achieve in life or your career? But in this video, we are going to use this section to address relevance of the goal when setting the goal for someone else, such as a team or group you manage. In this context, you will need to ask if this goal is relevant to that team's job and whether or not they would be able to achieve that. For example, if you are giving a total number of sales goal to a marketing team and they are not involved in the closing process, you will be neglecting certain factors that are involved in that sales process that the marketing team has no control over. And therefore, adjustments on that goal will be less effective. So, If you are setting a goal for your marketing team, it would be better to set a goal for a specific number of leads or a certain quality of leads. Now, let's move on to time frame. When setting a time frame, we will need to utilize the concepts of specificity as well as achievability. So, we will need to set a specific date or time frame for which we have to achieve our goal, which can be a year or a set number of days. Also, we will need to make sure the time frame is realistic. For example, if you decide that you wanted to own $1 billion company, but you haven't even started that company, nor have proof of concept, it isn't a good idea for you to set a goal for $1 billion valuation in 1 year. So currently we have SMART goals. So how are we going to make them smarter? We're going to throw excitement into the mix. So how are we going to make our goals exciting? This can look different for each individual, because what is exciting to you may not be exciting to someone else or your team. This is important to take into consideration in the context of an organization. If you're trying to keep a goal exciting to an organization, you can ask for their feedback as to what would be exciting for them. If you are self-employed or operating as a solopreneur, ask yourself the same question. What would make the goal exciting? Some people may find the challenging goal exciting enough. Others may find a reward system exciting, such as taking a vacation you have always wanted to take if you achieve your goal. Anyways, if you are absolutely crushing your goals, don't you deserve to treat yourself? Just tailor the rewards to fit you. Now, how are we going to make sure we are on the right track to accomplishing our goals? By periodically reviewing our progress. Reviewing our goals involves receiving feedback. This can be in the form of tracked metrics, such as number of sales in relation to a specified time frame. It is also helpful to involve others in this discussion of progress and accomplishment. This can help with the interpretation of those metrics, as well as what actions should be taken based on those metrics. An example of this is discussing with a group why you only made 5 sales in a given time period and what you will do to better your performance going forward. Now, this concept of reviewing our goals is getting a little bit into setting our micro goals. So, what do I mean by micro goals? I mean, you should break your goals into smaller sub-goals. In other words, if you have a specific target for number of sales within a year, you will need to break that down into smaller time frames as well as sales. For example, you can set a certain amount of sales for each quarter within a year or each month. One thing you want to consider when doing this is that while you may be dividing the time frame into equal parts, the seasonality of some products or businesses may require splitting up the sales differently for each smaller time frame. So if you sell coats and your summer goal is the same as your winter goal, it is very unlikely that you will hit your summer goal. This creation of micro goals allows you to review your progress regularly, as well as make any necessary adjustments to how you are using your time and efforts, so you can achieve your macro goal effectively and efficiently. This process of breaking down a larger goal into smaller sub-goals can be done repeatedly until you have a clear game plan on how you will achieve your macro goal. Clearly setting a by-the-hour time block schedule for a Tuesday a year from now would be tedious and would also not allow for necessary adjustments. If my macro time frame was 1 year, I would divide that into quarters and set goals for each quarter. From there, I would break down the first quarter into months and set goals for each month. Then I would break down the first month into weeks and set goals for each week. And at last, you can break down that week into days and set a general overview of what days you would like to accomplish certain tasks. You can then work on getting a little more specific about the amount of time you would need to dedicate for each task the night before. This is the idea of time blocking, which numerous successful entrepreneurs use every day, such as Elon Musk. And while this may seem overwhelming when looking at the whole picture, simply take it step by step and you will see just how manageable it is. This process allows you to have specific tasks of how you will achieve your macro goal, while allowing flexibility for any adjustments that may be needed through the process. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I strongly encourage you to try out this system. If you have any questions or would like to share your macro goal, make sure to leave them in the comments below. Also, make sure you are following us on Instagram at bizrich.co, because we also provide tips for you and your business there. So, once again, we would greatly appreciate you liking and sharing this video, as well as subscribing to the channel. Now, let's all set some smarter goals and get ready for an amazing year. Peace.